This is The Artificial Man by Clare Winger Harris, published in the 1929 issue of Science Wonder Quarterly magazine, narrated by ElevenLabs digital audio voice Anna Rita 2, A Man Obsessed. About 3 months following this incident, Dr. Bell, now in possession of the office of the late Dr. Amos, was about to lock up after the afternoon consultations when he heard the approach of a belated visitor in the hall. Looking up, he beheld Gregory, who passed quickly through the waiting room and into the inner office, closing the door behind him. The peculiar look of a fanatic that had become more marked since his second accident was evident now as he seated himself and turned wild eyes to the doctor. "Don't be scared, Doc," he jeered at sight of Bell's white drawn face. "I didn't come to blame you for winning Rosalind's love, though I confess the thought of your wedding next week goes considerably against the grain. I came for another purpose, and I want you to help me." He rose now and advanced toward the physician. The latter observed the perfect mastery of the artificial limbs, a mastery that proved how well the brain can be trained to control nerves and muscles under unusual conditions. Was all the effort of this brain being turned in that direction to the detriment of a well-balanced reasoning power? "Here's my proposition, Bell," the words jangled harshly, bringing to a swift conclusion the doctor's thoughts regarding the changed mental status of his one-time friend. "I have decided what I want done. I'll admit that what I'm about to tell you will prove I have a mental quirk, which, by the way, corresponds to my physical quirks, but this thing has become an obsession with me." The speaker leaned forward and held the other's attention with a steady gaze. He then resumed, "I am going to try out an experiment, or rather have it tried out on me, for I shall be a passive factor in this case. I am going to find out how much of this mortal coil I can shuffle off and still maintain my personal identity as a piece of humanity here on Earth. In other words, as much of my body as can be removed and substituted by artificial parts, I wish to have done." During Gregory's recital, David's eyes had dilated in horror, and he unconsciously recoiled from his visitor until the width of the room was between them. Not a word could he utter. The seconds ticked away on the little ebony clock on the desk, and still the two men regarded each other with unquestionable antagonism. "Well, will you do it, Bell?" The man pointed significantly to the surgical instruments and the operating table. "I have ample means to pay you handsomely. I'm going to find out about this mortal body and its relation to the soul before I die. You've robbed me of one desire of my heart, but this you shall grant." At last Bell spoke, and with the sound of his voice his courage returned. "George, whether you believe it or not, you are a madman, and I refuse to comply with your request. If, as you yourself maintain, with the loss of every bodily member, your mental and spiritual powers have waned, what, in heaven's name, tell me, would you be with only enough of your body left to chain your spirit to earth? I will not aid you in this mad project of yours. Go, or shall I have you taken to the hospital for the insane?" George Gregory saw that further persuasion was useless. He walked toward the outer office, but at the doorway he turned and faced Bell. "There are other surgeons in the world, and mark my words, I shall find out yet by how slender a thread body and soul can hang together.